Hi everyone, it's Lee here and welcome to the Tesla Economist. I know it seems all Tesla want to do right now is build more Model Y factories, which you can't blame them for, as they are so incredibly popular and so incredibly profitable. So Tesla are going to keep doubling down on that model until it finds its place in the market. This would also include rear-wheel drive LFP versions too. Tesla are just not close to producing enough of these vehicles to meet the market. And then once they are, well, they can lower the price, or offer lower cost variants, or software limit the specifications, and then demand will rise again, and Tesla will have to produce even more, rinse and repeat until Tesla do find the optimal number produced at the correct market clearing price. But one day, we might actually see a new Model 3 factory. At a guess, the next one will be at Berlin or Texas. But this Model 3 will have front and rear castings, a structural battery pack with 4680 cells, and who knows what else. It will be an outstanding car. It'll be phenomenal. I mean, the fact Tesla are capable of producing a car now that is that much better than my current Model 3 performance, which is pretty much 5-year-old technology now, is all possible. Tesla are more than capable of producing such a car now. But like I say, all the other products have taken a back seat because Tesla hit a gold mine. No, a diamond mine with the Model Y. I don't think even Elon came close to estimating how popular this vehicle would be, how popular Teslas or electric cars would even be. That's why Tesla thought they might have to release, get this, a $25,000 Tesla. Doesn't that sound ridiculously cheap now? No, instead they raised the price of the Model Y to $66,000, a car that used to cost under $50,000. Except that was also using 5-year-old technology too. And now we have a new Model Y with 4680 cells using 0 years old technology. Brand new, state-of-the-art technology never before seen or barely imagined. And this new Model Y is going to have various software upgrades and features and specs that we're not even aware of yet, as it's all being kept under wraps. Well, obviously that will only further increase demand more, and perhaps that's one of the reasons as to not spill the beans on the car just yet. It might disrupt demand too much, which Tesla are already struggling with enough as it is, particularly when you factor in inflation. Oh yeah, and on top of that, a crazy $7,500 tax credit. So everything is taking a back seat, and Tesla are just going to milk this highly profitable vehicle for some time. I'm pretty sure that the next location will be Northeast US. They may even surprise us with an Indonesia location too soon. But if the demand for electric cars or Teslas is this insane right now, well, it's also about to get twice as bad or as good, depending on how you look at it, because they are soon entering a new market segment called autonomous vehicles, which is a totally different lifestyle vehicle for so many people. Elderly people who no longer have a driver's license opens up a new life for them. Many won't even need to live in rest homes as a result. Oh right, yeah, and just in time for all the baby boomers to retire. And that's just one fraction of utility for that, not to mention robotaxis. And even if it does take 2 or 3 years to get through regulation or whatever, well, Tesla have plenty of demand just selling EVs in the meantime. But when they can sell AVs, then it's going to jump again. Perhaps this will be the Model Y supporting all this demand. Maybe Model Y is eventually going to be 5 or 10 million units a year or something. And sure, the starting price may well come down under $40,000 by then and still have a huge margin. But if that customer also purchases FSD, then it's probably an instant extra $30,000 profit anyway. Wow, that is so much profit. So much profit and so much demand, it's mind-blowing. Anyway, I digress somewhat there. Now, back to this new Model 3. If you recall, Tesla actually managed to sell the Model 3 for $35,000 at one stage. It was the standard version, not Standard Plus, and that is the reason the Standard Plus has the Plus extension in its name. Tesla advertised this price on the initial Model 3 reveal, and Elon honored it, but eventually realized it was just silly and not good business, and they didn't need the demand that badly, although demand was nothing like it was today back then. But there was still a gross profit on that low-cost car, and even back then. And this car actually used 2170 cells, not even LFP cells. The car was also not even in volume production, yet still profitable. So I ask you now, what if Tesla made a new Model 3 in a new custom-built factory, yet the old Model 3 was also produced in the inefficient, high-cost Fremont site on top of everything else, an old retrofitted factory, and in California, and before all the other advances like octavalve, radar being removed, and other various parts and processes removed? Of course, gigapress and structural packs. And imagine if Tesla had their own LFP cells or LMFP in-house too. I would say that the cost of goods sold per Model 3 has got to be possible to get it below $20,000 per vehicle. Tesla could make electric cars for under $20,000. And obviously not just any electric car, a Tesla robot smart digital car. And it's a full sedan, not a two-door compact. Now, hear me out. But what if Tesla really did sell it for $25,000 and made $5,000 gross profit per vehicle, which would still be enough to generate an overall net profit for the company, even if that was all they sold, especially if you consider how much demand that vehicle would have? Yes, we're going to go hypothetical here. Okay, the cost of materials and labour have increased somewhat since too, but so would have wages, at least eventually when the economy works itself out. So let's just keep it relative back to when Tesla actually did announce the $25,000 vehicle. Do you see though, through any type of market or economy, these vehicles will still sell for as fast as Tesla can make them. They can just control demand with price. Now, at current finance rates of 4.5%, if you were to finance a $25,000 Tesla over 6 years, then the loan repayments are exactly and even $400 a month. The average American spends about $200 a month on fuel, although that's probably closer to $300 now, but let's stick with $200. The average they spend a month on insurance is $100. They spend $400 a year on servicing, or $33 a month on average. And alright, a Tesla doesn't cost nothing to run, but it might cost about $40 a month to charge, and if you're a good driver, then Tesla insurance might only cost $40, and servicing isn't a thing. When we calculate all those numbers, then we see that the savings of a Tesla come in at around $250 a month. Yet it would only cost $400 a month for this brand new Tesla, i.e. an additional $150 a month. And that excludes the entire cost of the ICE vehicle, which is by far the largest cost. Also, if it's an older ICE, then it would cost a lot more to run in parts wearing out and likely fuel efficiency. However, the average American spends $27,000 on a used car anyway, which is more expensive than this hypothetical brand new Tesla Model 3. And a lot of Americans actually buy brand new cars at an average price of $47,000, nearly twice the price of this Tesla. And yes, we know that the biggest cost of owning a car is not actually the fuel, but the depreciation. And after 5 years, you're lucky if your car is worth even half what you initially paid for it. Except we see 5-year-old Model 3s for sale for more than they cost 5 years ago, with 5 years of mileage on the clock. Teslas don't depreciate. They are not a liability, they're an asset. But a typical finance company wouldn't understand that or want to risk it. However, Tesla would understand that. So what if Tesla offered a 10-year finance plan instead? Well, if you finance a Tesla for 10 years at 4.5%, then the monthly payments come in at $259, pretty much exactly the same as additional running costs of an average ICE car. In other words, a brand new Tesla could cost as much to own and run as an average ICE car just costs to run. The Tesla would be the equivalent of free. In other words, the only way for an ICE car to compete with the cost of ownership of this Tesla is if the ICE car cost nothing. But it doesn't stop there, of course, as after this 10-year period, well, the payments, they stop. And your running costs then drop to about $90 a month, compared to the ICE car, which after 10 years is probably a total write-off anyway. Yet this Tesla would probably only be 1/10 the way through its battery life before it even degrades. Also, they could end up being used for vehicle to grid as well, and perhaps save a further $50 to $100 on power for your home each month. Of course, Tesla could upsell FSD on the vehicle and make a massive profit. And all these numbers are based on American costs of ownership. Pretty much everything is cheaper in America. Fuel prices in Europe are a lot higher. Same with Australia and many other nations. And insurance costs too. The point we can make here is that this could almost be seen as Tesla's intrinsic value. Perhaps $5,000 gross profit per vehicle, but Tesla could sell 100 million of these vehicles a year. The cost of servicing, parts, fuel and insurance is not too dissimilar in any nation. This is affordable to the absolute masses, and compared to their old Toyota Corollas, this is a massive upgrade. Not to mention all the really cool features you get in a Tesla compared to a 90s Corolla. Drivers wouldn't want to wait until it's time to buy the next car if they can upgrade to a Tesla tomorrow and save money, hence the massive demand. And even at 100 million vehicles a year, it would still take 2 decades to replace the global fleet, assuming no leverage from the robotaxi network. This was totally hypothetical, but I use it to help you try and see Tesla how I see it. Just what an incredible job they have done in reducing the cost of ownership. But in addition to that, all the massive advances they've also made in production to get the costs down. And this probably doesn't even factor in everything, like powering the factories with solar and batteries and robots on the production line. Remember, the actual cost of the factory itself, when fully ramped up, well, that cost of capital probably only factors into about 1 or 2% of the cost of the vehicle. And if there's minimal cost in labor and energy, then you're just down to the raw materials, especially if there is so much vertical integration happening, like cathode factories. However, Tesla don't need to come close to $25,000. Well, okay, for 100 million demand, perhaps 25,000 vehicles may be necessary, but it could actually be a compact too, which would cost even less to build, maybe even a single cast mold or something. But even if they did offer that, then it's not like they would only offer that. They would still have vehicles that do sell in excess for $100,000 too. And like I said, there's all the high profit add-ons too, like FSD. There are just so many ways for this company to profit, since they've done such a spectacular job on reducing so many costs in so many areas and adding so much extra value. Tesla can sell as many cars as they want to make. Even if they wanted to make 100 million cars a year, there has never in history been any company like this. So basically, if Tesla can offer a brand new car for the cost of running an average ICE car for 10 years, then almost every current car owner on the planet can afford one and will most likely want one. This is a product and company to marvel. However, Tesla can't currently make enough of these cars to serve such demand. Therefore, the demand will be controlled by price. But if the economy was ever that bad, then Tesla can reduce their prices to as low as the equivalent of free to a typical ICE driver and still make a profit. Therefore, as long as Tesla can produce cars, they can always remain profitable. And that is their intrinsic value. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.